Good morning, aspirants. Today we are going to discuss science and tech current affairs for this year prelims. We have selected 25 important current affairs which appeared in the newspaper for this 1 year. So this is a current affairs revision session for science and tech. So these are the 25 important topics we have selected for this year current affairs. So based on these 25 topics, we have framed 25 important current affairs questions. So this will test the knowledge of current affairs on science and tech. Now let us start the discussion. Consider the following statements regarding the Atomic Energy Commission of India. Look at the first statement. It was established by executive resolution before the Department of Atomic Energy came into existence. So this statement tests our chronological order of these institutions. See, Atomic Energy Commission was established in 1948 itself. And Department of Atomic Energy was established only later in 1954. So basically Atomic Energy Commission came into existence before the Department of Atomic Energy. So the first statement is correct and it was established by executive resolution. Now look at the second statement. The Atomic Energy Commission is directly responsible for the operation of nuclear power plants in India. This is an extreme statement because Atomic Energy Commission only frames policy and it is a recommendatory body under Department of Atomic Energy. The direct responsibility for the operation of nuclear power plants lies with Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, that is NPCIL. So the second statement is incorrect. Now look at the third statement. The AEC functions under the administrative control of Prime Minister of India. Yes, this statement is correct because the Atomic Energy Commission functions under Department of Atomic Energy, which in turn is directly administered by Prime Minister of India. So the first statement is correct and the third statement is correct. The second statement alone is incorrect. Now look at the second question. With reference to the term dark oxygen recently seen in scientific research, consider the following statements. Now what is dark oxygen? Look at the first statement. Oxygen released through radioactive decay in deep sea vents, oxygen produced in deep ocean in the absence of sunlight, oxygen trapped in deep ocean sediments since prehistoric times, oxygen generated by photosynthesis under low light conditions. So the correct answer is option B, oxygen which is produced in deep ocean in the absence of sunlight. See, recently the scientists made a great discovery by finding the dark oxygen. Previously, scientists thought that oxygen can only be produced by photosynthesis only in the presence of sunlight. But in the deepest part of ocean, there is a presence of oxygen, which means there is no presence of sunlight, but still the oxygen is present there. It means there are some other sources for the production of oxygen besides photosynthesis, because photosynthesis can happen only in the presence of sunlight. So this discovery of oxygen in the deepest part of ocean in the absence of sunlight is called dark oxygen. Now look at the third question. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the difference between DNA and RNA? See, UPSC is testing our knowledge about the basic differences about the plant cell, animal cell, virus, bacteria, the prokaryotes, eukaryotes, etc. So these are the basic biology knowledge which can be found in NCERT books. So look at this question about DNA and RNA. So this DNA RNA is also important because we need to know the basics about these terms, because recently we are seeing news about the gene editing process or genome project in India, indigen project or genome India project, like that. So we have to know about the genes, the DNA, RNA, all these basic things. Now what is the major difference between DNA and RNA? This is the question is about. DNA is found only in nucleus, whereas RNA is present in cytoplasm only. So this first statement, DNA is found in nucleus only. Yes, this part of the statement is correct. Whereas RNA is present in the cytoplasm only. This part is incorrect because RNA is present both in nucleus and cytoplasm. But DNA is found only in nucleus. So the first statement is incorrect. Look at the second statement. RNA is more stable compared to DNA. See, DNA means deoxyribose nucleic acid. RNA means ribose nucleic acid. And DNA is a double stranded, but RNA is single stranded. So single stranded means it is less stable. while DNA, it is double stranded and it is more stable. So the second statement is ulta and it is incorrect. Now look at the third statement. RNA is involved in protein synthesis while DNA stores genetic information. Yes, this is correct. The function of RNA is protein synthesis and the main function of DNA is storage of genetic information. The fourth statement is incorrect. As I said earlier, RNA is single stranded, DNA is double stranded. To remember this, the D in DNA stands for double stranded, deoxyribose nucleic acid, which is a double stranded structure, while RNA is very less stable and it is single stranded. RNA is somewhat inferior to DNA. So remember like this. So the correct answer for this question is option C. RNA is involved in protein synthesis, DNA is involved in storage of genetic information. Now look at the fourth question. This is about T cell therapy. Recently there is news about the CAR T cell therapy and its introduction into India, and India also has a native CAR T cell therapy. So look at this question. Coming to the first statement, it is approved in India for treating diseases like B cell lymphomas and leukemias. Yes, this statement is correct. Recently, the CAR T cell therapy, the T cell therapy was approved in India, and President Draupadi Murmu also approved this treatment for these diseases. So the first statement is correct. Now what is a T cell? T cell therapy, in that what is a T cell means? T cells are part of our immune system and these cells fight against virus and other diseases. So the second statement is obviously correct. T cells identify and destroy virus infected and cancerous cells. Now look at the third statement. NextCar19 is India's first indigenously developed CAR T cell therapy. Yes, this statement is correct. This is a recent current affairs. NextCar19 is India's indigenously developed CAR T cell therapy. Here the CAR T cell therapy is an advanced form of T cell therapy, chimeric antigen receptor T cell therapy. So this is the CAR T cell therapy. Basically the CAR T cell therapy involves using our own T cells to fight against the diseases. So it is like a gene editing the T cells in our body to fight against the disease more effectively. So T cells are part of immune cells. So this is the basics about T cell therapy. So the correct answer for this question is all the three statements are correct. Now look at the fifth question. This is about sunspots. Recently we have solar maximum cycle from 2022 to 2024. So this sunspots is appearing in news recently. Look at the first statement. Sunspots appear darker because they are cooler than the surrounding regions of the sun. Yes, this statement is correct. Mostly people assume that the sunspots are the hottest part of the sun, but it is in contrary. Sunspots are cooler regions of the sun and that is why they appear darker. Compared to the surrounding regions, the sun surface, the sunspots are cooler regions and they also appear darker, like a black dot on the sun surface. So this is a sunspot. Look at the second statement. An increase in sunspot activity is typically associated with increased solar radiation reaching the earth. So this statement is also correct. If there are more sunspots, then there are more solar radiation emitted from the sun and they reach the earth. So sunspot activity is directly related to the increased solar radiation. So more sunspot means more solar activity. Now look at the third statement. Sunspots follow an 11-year cycle of increasing and decreasing activity. So this is a 11-year cycle for sun, where at first half of the 11-year there will be lesser sunspots, lesser solar activity, and the last part of the 11-year cycle there will be more sunspots and more solar activity. So this is called solar maximum and solar minimum. So this is a 11-year cycle and take a note of it. Now look at the fourth statement. They are formed due to disruptions in sun's magnetic field. Yes, this statement is correct. Sunspots are formed due to disruption in sun's magnetic field, and at the region of sunspot there is more magnetic field of sun. So magnetic field is also directly related to the sunspot. So all the statements given here are correct. Sunspots appear darker because they are cooler. Increased sunspot activity is related to increased solar radiation. Sunspot follow 11-year cycle of solar maximum and solar minimum. They are formed due to disruption in sun's magnetic field. So all the four statements are correct. Now look at the sixth question. AlphaFold 2, which was recently seen in the news, is related to which of the following? The correct answer is option D, AI model which predict the protein structures. See, AlphaFold 2 is the AI model which can create novel proteins, which means it can create proteins which are not found in the nature. It can create new proteins and it can also detect the protein structure. So this is helpful for curing or studying about many diseases. So for this discovery, the recently chemistry Nobel Prize was given. So this is an important current affairs news. AlphaFold 2 is related to protein structures. So they also can create novel proteins, that is new kind of proteins which are not found in the nature. Now looking at the seventh question, Hayflick limit, which was recently seen in the news, is related to which of the following? See, recently Mr. Hayflick has passed away, and this is why this Hayflick limit has appeared in the news. This is related to the process of cellular aging and cancer suppression. See, our cells divide and multiply during our lifetime. A number of times a cell can divide determine our age. Our cells can divide 20 to 30 times or up to 50 times. So our age is around 100 years of age. Maybe humans can live up to 125 years of age, because our cells can divide only up to 20 or 30 times before they die. But if you take the turtles who live up to 20 or 200 years, their cells can multiply more than 100 times during their lifetime. So the Hayflick limit is a limit up to which the cells can multiply until death. So this is related to cellular aging or aging process, and this understanding of Hayflick limit can also be used in the cancer treatment or cancer suppression. So Hayflick limit is related to cellular aging and cancer suppression. The correct answer is option B. Now look at the eighth question. Working of optical fiber cables is based on which of the following principles? So the optical fiber cables are used in the deep sea internet connectivity cables, and we have seen recently about the deep sea cables in news. And this is a basic understanding of the operating principle of the optical fiber cables. So this is a question taken from NCERT book, and this is a basic scientific knowledge which will be tested by UPSC. So the correct answer is option C, total internal reflection of light. So optical fiber cables work on the principle that if a light wave is passed into the optical fiber cable at a specific angle, then they can travel throughout the length of the cable without getting deflected or refracted away. So this principle is called a total internal reflection of light, and this is the working principle of optical fiber cables. So these optical fiber cables are what connecting the deep sea cables and giving internet connectivity around the world. Now look at the ninth question with reference to the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Now look at the statements. This is a basic understanding of difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Previously, UPSC has asked about the plant cells and animal cells, their difference, and about the cell walls, etc. So here the prokaryotic means unicellular organism or unicellular cells. Eukaryotic means the cells of multicellular organism. They are multicellular cells, and prokaryotics are unicellular cells. So this is a major understanding about this. Now look at the statements. Prokaryotes lack membrane bound organelles, whereas eukaryotes possess them. Yes, this is true. So remember this, eukaryotes are multicellular and they are superior than prokaryotes, because prokaryotes are just unicellular organism. So these prokaryotes often lack the membrane bound organelles and the nucleus, etc. But eukaryotes possess all of them. So the first statement is correct. Now look at the second statement. Prokaryotes have nucleus but eukaryotes lack it. See, this statement contradicts the first statement, because prokaryotes are inferior. As I said, they don't have membrane bound organelles, they don't have definite nucleus. But eukaryotes possess this definite nucleus. So the second statement is incorrect. Look at the third statement, eukaryotic cells are generally larger in size compared to prokaryote cells. Yes, this statement is also correct. So always remember that eukaryotic cells are superior than prokaryote cells. So they are larger, they have membrane bound organelles, they have nucleus, but prokaryotes lack all of this. So for example, example for prokaryotes is bacteria. Eukaryotic cells are all animals. We have eukaryotic cells. So the multicellular organisms are eukaryotes. Now look at the 10th question. Consider the following statements regarding Axiom Mission 4. So this is a recently seen in news, this mission Axiom 4. It includes astronauts from India, Poland and Hungary. Yes, this statement is correct. This is a private mission to International Space Station. So the second statement is also correct. Look at the third statement. The mission will reach geostationary orbit. This is incorrect because International Space Station is only placed at lower Earth orbit. So the mission is going to lower Earth orbit, not geostationary orbit. International Space Station is just 400 to 450 kilometers above the ground. It can be even seen in the naked eyes. So it is just presented in lower Earth orbit, and this mission is going to low Earth orbit, not geostationary orbit. So the third statement is incorrect. Look at the 11th question. Cryptobiosis recently seen in the news. Look at the four options. The correct answer is option A. A state in which an organism enters suspended animation to survive extreme environmental conditions. See, recently an organism called tardigrade was launched into space. It was sent to the moon, and this organism is known for surviving extreme environmental conditions. It can survive nuclear holocaust, it can survive in Antarctica, it can survive in space. So this tardigrade has this cryptobiosis. So this means the organism can go to the dormant state, can shut off all its metabolism and remain dormant until the life supporting system turns back. So it can stay in this phase for a longer time, and when the nutrients or water is available, then it can make itself alive again. So this temporary suspension of their life supporting system is called cryptobiosis. So this is how these organisms like tardigrades survive the extreme environmental condition. So the correct answer is option A. Now look at the 12th question. Consider the following statements about virus. Virus can have either DNA or RNA. They can replicate only with the help of host cell. Viruses can infect both prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. See, the first statement is a little bit tricky, but it is true. Viruses can have either DNA or RNA, because there are DNA viruses and there are RNA viruses, but virus cannot possess both DNA and RNA. So if they have given the statement as viruses can have both DNA and RNA, it is incorrect, because viruses can have only DNA or only RNA, not both. Now look at the second statement. They can replicate only with the help of host cell. Yes, this statement is correct. That is why virus cannot survive in the atmosphere or outside the living cells. They can only replicate and reproduce inside the host organism. Second statement is correct. Viruses can infect both prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. Yes, this statement is correct. Prokaryotes like bacteria can also be infected by virus. So virus can attack anything and every living thing. So all the three statements are correct. So this question is about the basic understanding of virus, because UPSC is very fond of these microorganisms like virus. Many questions have appeared in past year. So look at this 13th question. In the context of biotechnology, what is PCR, polymerase chain reaction, primarily used for? So this is related to rapid replication of specific DNA sequence. So this means this is related to gene editing. So this question was asked because it is recently seen in use for gene editing technology. See, if you take the NCERT biology book, there will be polymerase, primase, ligase and helicase. These enzymes are mentioned, and these enzymes are related to the DNA sequencing or DNA or gene editing technology. So polymerase is used to replicate the DNA sequences. So it is generally related to the gene editing technology. Now look at the 14th question. Which of the following statements regarding tuberculosis is correct? Look at the first statement. Tuberculosis is caused by a virus and is spread through contaminated water. So you can assume that it is spread through contaminated water, but the first part of the statement is clearly incorrect, because tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis and it is a bacterial disease. It is not a viral disease. We have to understand about, we have to note that what are the important diseases seen in the news and are they viral disease or bacterial disease. We have to note that down because it is very important. So tuberculosis is a viral disease, is a bacterial disease and not a viral disease. Recently, Jordan became the first country to eradicate TB. So Jordan appeared on the news for eradicating a disease, and it is not for TB, it is for eliminating the leprosy. So WHO recently awarded Jordan for the first country to eliminate the leprosy. So this statement is incorrect. TB primarily affects lungs but can also affect other parts of body. Yes, this statement is correct. It primarily affects lungs but it can also affect pancreas, liver, etc. Option D is incorrect. Tuberculosis can only be transmitted through direct contact with infected blood. So there are multiple ways of transmission for TB and this is obviously an incorrect statement. Now look at this question. It is about private players in India's space sector, because recently there is a huge involvement of private players in India's developing space sector. So the InSpace and NSIL are the two major bodies which relates to the private players in India's space sector, and this question is framed about it. Look at the first statement. InSpace act as a single window agency to promote space activities by private entities. Yes, this statement is correct. InSpace is involved in the promotion and allowing the private entities and encouraging the private entities into India's space industry. So the first statement is correct. Now look at the second statement. InSpace functions as an autonomous agency within the Ministry of Science and Technology. This statement is incorrect because it functions under the Department of Space. Everything related to the space sector mostly comes under the Department of Space. So people often forget that there is a separate department called Department of Space. So they mostly associate space and other technologies with the science and technology. So this statement is clearly incorrect. Now look at the third statement. Indian Space Policy 2023 makes it mandatory for all space-based startup to partner with New Space India Limited. This statement is an extreme statement because it does not mandatory for all startups. So the third statement is incorrect. The second statement is also incorrect. Only the first statement is correct. Now look at this question. Compact fluorescent lamps are free from any toxic materials and are fully recyclable. So this question is about the lighting technologies. Previously, UPSC has asked about the lighting technologies in prelims examination, and we have to understand about the basics and difference between these important lighting technologies. The CFL lamps, the incandescent lamps, the LED lights. What are the differences and what are the importance about them? Here the compact fluorescent lamps are free from any toxic material and are fully recyclable. This statement is incorrect because these lamps uses mercury and they are toxic in nature. So it is not free from any toxic material. So compact fluorescent lamps uses mercury. So the first statement is incorrect. The CFLs are more energy efficient than both incandescent and LED bulbs. See, this statement is incorrect because CFLs are energy efficient than incandescent but not energy efficient than LED bulbs. LED bulbs are superior than CFL. So please note that LED bulbs are always superior in terms of energy efficiency. Look at the third statement. LED lights have a longer lifespan than both incandescent and CFL bulbs. Yes, this statement is correct. LED lights are superior. Next to them are CFL lamps and next to them are incandescent lamps. So this is a order, and the energy efficiency increases with this order and the lifespan also increases with this order. So LED lights have longer lifespan, they have more energy efficiency. So LED lights are the most advanced of these lighting technologies, and they are more energy efficient, and they have more longer lifespan. So look at this question. Virovore, which was recently seen in the news, refers to. So this is a kind of terminology or terms which recently appear in the news regarding the scientific discoveries or technologies. So this Virovore is a virus that infects other virus. So this is a recent discovery which is seen in the news. So this question is about a chemical compound, hydrogen peroxide. So consider the following activities. In how many of the above activities can the hydrogen peroxide be used? See, last year also UPSC has asked about chemical compound and their usage. So this important chemical compounds which appear in the news and their usages have to be studied. So this hydrogen peroxide is recently seen in the news because scientists have found a new method to produce this synthetic hydrogen peroxide. So this is why it appeared in the news, and application of this hydrogen peroxide is wide. You can see from the options that it is used for antiseptic for wounds, and it is also used in rockets as a propulsion system. It is also used in food processing. So it has a wide range of uses, and all three of these are correct. So the correct answer is option C, all three. Now look at this question. With reference to National Quantum Mission, consider the following statements. The mission aims to develop intermediate scale quantum computers with 50 to 1000 physical qubits. Yes, the statement is correct. Look at the second statement. Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is the implementing agency. This statement is incorrect because Ministry of Science and Technology is the implementing agency for this mission, not Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. This is a confusing statement. India will be the 7th country to have dedicated quantum mission. Yes, the statement is correct. Many countries like US, China, Canada have already created quantum missions, and India will be the 7th country to have a dedicated quantum mission. So option 1 and option 3 are correct. That is, statement 1 and 3 are correct. Statement 2 is incorrect. Now look at this question. Project Kuiper, which was recently seen in the news, is associated with. It is a satellite internet constellation project by Amazon. Like a Starlink project which was created by SpaceX, this is an internet constellation created by Amazon. So this project Kuiper is related to the satellite constellation project by Amazon. Why is microorganism called Naegleria fowleri often mentioned in the news? So this Naegleria fowleri is seen in the news related to a brain-eating amoeba which can cause serious infections in brain. So it is found in the contaminated waters, and they are more active during the summer season. So recently many cases have been identified, and there is a warning about this microorganism regarding the brain infection. Now look at 22nd question. Consider the following statements about artificial sweeteners. UPSC has asked about this artificial sweeteners and natural sweeteners in past year prelims examination also. So understanding their basics is very essential. Look at the first statement. The Food Safety and Standard Authority of India regulates the permissible limits of artificial sweeteners in packaged food. Yes, FSSAI is responsible for regulating the limits of artificial sweeteners. The first statement is correct. Allulose is a natural sugar found in small amounts in foods like figs and raisins. Yes, this is a natural sweetener, and this statement is correct. Tagatose is an artificial sweetener used in sugar-free chocolates. This statement is incorrect. Tagatose is also a natural sweetener, and it is extracted from lactose, which is found in the milk. So this is not an artificial sweetener. So this statement is incorrect. Option 1, statements 1 and 2 are correct, and the statement 3 is incorrect. Now look at this question. Goldine, which was recently seen in the news, it refers to, it is a two-dimensional structure of gold which is similar to graphene. So option B is correct, a novel carbon allotrope with a two-dimensional structure similar to graphene. So gold in is nothing but a single layer of gold which has a thickness of only one atom thickness. So it is a single atom thickness of gold sheet which has a wide variety of industrial applications. So it is recently found, and this term is related to the two-dimensional structure of gold. So the correct answer is option B. Now this is about the radio frequency identification and near field communication. So look at the first statement. FASTag uses RFID technology for automatic toll collection across national highways. Firstly, we have to understand the basics about this two technology. These are very important and are often seen in the news, and it is also application which we use every day. The radio frequency identification and near field communication both are radio frequency mechanism which uses the radio waves, and this radio frequency identification is a long-term instrument which is a long-term wavelength, and it can be used for nearly up to 100 meters for transmission. So RFID can travel up to 100 meters. A near field communication, that is NFC, has only a range of up to 10 meters, 5 to 10 meters. So that is why it is called near field communication. So this NFC is used in for payment options like tapping our card on the ATM or credit card or debit card for payment option. So this is what it is used in the near field communication. The radio frequency identification is used in FASTag for toll collection for like 10 meters, above 10 meters or 50 meters transmission of the waves. So both uses the radio waves. So this is the basics about RFID and NFC. NFC is commonly used in contactless payments and smart cards. Yes, the statement is correct. Both RFID and NFC use radio waves for data transmission. Yes, this statement is correct. So all the three statements are correct. Now look at the last question. It is about Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a herbicide used by United States during Vietnam War to destroy the forest cover and crops. So this statement is correct. This is in fact a herbicide, and it was used by United States during Vietnam War. So they have to clear away the forest and crops so they can fight more efficiently. So they used the Agent Orange, which was thrown as the rainbow herbicide, that is they are thrown from the plains to destroy the forest. Look at the second statement. It contained dioxin, a highly toxic compound linked to cancer and birth defects. Though it may not be clearly understood yet, but this statement is also true. The use of Agent Orange was officially declared a war crime under Geneva Convention. No, this statement is incorrect. USA has put this Agent Orange outside of this Geneva Convention. It was not declared a war crime under the Geneva Convention. So the statement 3 alone is incorrect. The statements 1 and 2 are correct. So with this, let us conclude the discussion. We have discussed 25 important topics through 25 questions. So if you can answer most of this question, then it means you are strong in the science and tech current affairs for this year, and we can expect more questions from these 25 topics. So all the best for your exams. Thank you.